I guess I'll just call it Max White Presents.
Max White, everyone.
So you go through that, and then at what age did you move out west?
I was 19. Yeah.
19?
I remember I started, I went to school in Akron, Ohio.
Okay.
I tried college for a little bit, and it was just kind of, it was terrible. I mean, it was colder than Akron than I never wanted to be in my life. So, I got out of there and just decided to get on a bus and go out to like San Diego. And I was 19 and I just really didn't know what else to do. I mean, it was just like, I could stay and go do the college thing and just live that kind of party life or whatever life I would have had. I don't know. But I just was like, man, skateboarding is it. And I got to go west if I want to do anything with it.
Now, when you grabbed the bus, like, did you know anyone? Because you went to San Diego, right?
Right.
Did you know anyone?
I knew Chad Knight a little bit from growing up in Ohio and skating at Sunsport because he was amazing, did amazing things there. And like from Woodward Camp back in the day, like I went there as a kid.
Oh, okay.
There. Yeah. And dude, you know what's crazy is like, I was going to send you this, I've been writing like all this stuff out and I should have like sent this to you because man, we could have like gone way furtwer down the rabbit hole.
Oh no, dude. We'll do another follow-up. We'll do another follow-up and we'll go even deeper. I'm so psyched on this. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, dude. But yeah, I knew Chad a little bit. So I was like, and he was going through like just turning pro and like 7 Steps to Heaven had just come out. So I just, started sending him a letter here and there and be like, kind of try to get him on the phone sometimes and be like, hey, do you think it's cool if I could crash there for 2 weeks? Like, I want to get out west. And eventually somehow I got an okay. And I was like, fuck yeah. And I went and it all went wrong, but turned out awesome.
Wait, what went wrong? Break that down, Dave. Like what?
Well, that's the thing is like the minute I got on the bus, I got to Chicago, had this bag full of all the things I thought I was going to need. And I'm getting on this other bus in Chicago. And as we're driving away, I'm looking at my fucking bag on the terminal, like just sitting there. And I'm like, they didn't get what about my bag? And they're like, it'll follow behind on another bus. Never saw the shit again in my life. Never got any compensation for it. Like, yeah, like I ended up in San Diego with a backpack, probably like some gay ass Jansport, like purple backpack and like a tape, fucking headphones with a tape recorder and a skateboard, Damn. I mean, that's just, yeah.
In retrospect, was that a blessing in disguise or do you still want your shit back?
Oh yeah. I got it back 10 times, fold. Like, it was just like, I lost it all. Like, you know what I mean? But from the very beginning, so I had nowhere else to go.
Mm-hmm.
Put up on, I could have busted, I guess, and just come back. But man, I don't know. When I got there, it was just like, hello, welcome to like the best thing ever, like the best life you could imagine. And
so like you come into the bus depot, like that's a long dirty dog ride. Like that's days covering from Columbus, Ohio to San Diego. That's probably like 5 days, isn't it? 4 days?
It was 3. It was like 3 and a half. Like, yeah. Actually, I remember I left out of Cleveland and then Chicago. By Chicago, it was all just like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do with my life? Like, how did I just fuck this up so bad?
And then like, if you could paint the picture when you pull into San Diego, or you just like get off and there's palm trees and it's warm. Like what month are we talking here?
Yeah. You're like, let's skate. Like, I was like, oh my God, Chad, what's up? Like, I mean, him and this girl came and picked me up. Like, it was his girlfriend at the time. And, they were like looking around like, where's your shit, dude? And I'm like, kind of lost it, like, sorry, like, can we go skate now? I mean, I was like that so much of a skate rat where I was just like, I'm ready for more, or I'm ready to go forget about all my problems and just get out in the streets and see how beautiful San Diego is.
What boards were you on at that time?
Nothing. I had no sponsors. I had like, I didn't even grow up with a shop, as you were kind of asking earlier. Like, I had no idea how the industry worked. I had no idea like contests. Like, I mean, there were little things in Pittsburgh or like in Columbus that, I'd been in like contest wise, whatever, but nothing that was ever serious where it was like, it was like, I just realized like, once like, a couple months into it, like, I was like, holy shit, I'm like in the heart of the industry of skateboarding. Like, not only am I like in like the best place that, I could ever want to live, the weather, but the rest of, it just like submerged like into something where I was just like, holy shit, like it's just, it's the real thing out there, like 24/7.
Do you remember the first spot you went to in SD when you got there that Chad brought you to?
Um, yeah. I mean, dude, we ended up at Mission Bay, and I met everybody there the first day, like that I would know through the rest of the 11 years I'd lived there. Like, you know what I mean? It was just like Steve Salentani, Ed Dominic, just who else? Like, so, the first time I was there, I saw Peter Smalley the first day I was in San Diego do a fucking kickflip blunt slide out on this like bike rack that to me was like scary as shit. You know what I mean?
How big
like,
were his jeans?
And they weren't that bad. Like it wasn't that crazy yet. I mean, it was still like he was still coming off that Etnies like, kind of like look or whatever. I don't know. He wasn't over bagging. I remember like he just had steez and style, and like everyone there was amazing. Like, I mean, just Brandon, I think Emmers and Aaron Snyder were there, Mayhew. Like it was just this spot where he was just like, like everyone that I could ever want to see, like was there. I mean, it was the craziest day of my life for sure. Like, yeah, I can't wait to send shit, dude. If you think this is fun, like, you're the one that I really, want to have you kind of like look over this stuff.
Oh, I'm so excited. No, and I hope I've got some stuff to go down. So you're in SD, and then for like 2 weeks, you've got like a 2-week kind of clock on staying at Chad's place, right?
Yeah.
Then are you just kind of like looking for spots and jobs, or like to live, or are you?
Yeah. And I mean, all I could do is kind of say, use their address, and, I just laid low pretty much until like, I don't know. It was weird because I never officially lived there, but I became the dude on the couch.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, like, oh shit. Anyways, I think, my first job, I ended up at a Rally's. Like, I stayed close to where they were thinking somehow I'd find an apartment, but I never did. I just stayed with them because I don't know, they had my back. It was pretty crazy.
Damn, that's amazing.
I'm gonna turn this on again.
Pre-internet too. Like, so you move out there and then you're there for how long before? Because did you go? This is what I couldn't figure out. Did you go right on to Maple, or was it a while before they put you on?
No, it was. Oh yeah, like dude, I didn't have a sponsor forever. Like I didn't think I'd really ever like come up. I mean, things were happening, like you know what I mean, and it was also kind of, I don't know, just spontaneous at the same time. Like I rarely was a dude that was like, I want to go to this spot and I want to do this trick. And you know what I mean? Like I practiced this before. I mean, it was like, I just go to whatever sessions were happening and just try to like, bust out with my friends. Like, so I went through a long period of like no sponsors. Like I don't know. I was just out there. I was working at rallies and then other like shitty jobs, anything I could find. And I remember I got on, it was like, Pig. We got like, Chad would always go down to Pig Wheels, and great fucking dude. It's so crazy. Like, they kind of hooked me up with Foundation. I remember like there was Mark Waters. I don't know if you're familiar with him. RIP from COVID. He like was someone else I'd met through Woodward back in the day, and he was there working. Like he was like some sort of team manager, and it was all Tomieto, and just like I don't know. They eventually kind of like started hooking me up. Foundation, and then after Foundation, I was just riding with like Chad and Mayhew all the time. So I was just like, man, I just want to ride for Maple, and we just kind of switched over to Maple. It wasn't like there was like nothing really said. It was just like, thanks. I don't remember thinking like, thanks, Todd Swank. I mean, it was a great opportunity. I in retrospect, I probably should have just stayed, but I don't know. The dudes were gnarly, and we were having such a fun time because I was always with the Maple dudes. I don't know.
Wait, that Maple team that you went on was like real heavy hitters, right? It was like was Louis Barletta on that?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'd say, of course, like you still watch fucking Jerry's Part to this day, and it's still like heavy as anything can be. But yeah, we had a great time. I mean, it was a really, I guess, awesome crew of people to skate with.
Wait, who was all on that team? Because I was looking for that, and I knew like Louis was on that, Jerry Sue. Did Mark Johnson just leave, or was he on that?
No, it was like actually the first couple, like while it was in San Diego, I remember like, Maple was going through all these changes all the time. Like I remember, Mark Johnson was still on when I got there. went to San Diego, you know what I mean? And was like living with Chad just as a friend. And then next thing you know, like, I think he had quit, and then something was going on, and then Mayhew quit. But then they put on Frank Carrata for a second. And then they put on, Charlie Wilkins. I think Sotful was on like throughout the period of like from when I got to San Diego to, you know, this is like to where Black Cat came out. But when Black Cat came out, it was Charlie Wilkins, me. Let's see, and then they had the Ams. I guess we're still like Louis was Am at the time with what's the other dude from San Jose? Why can't I think of him? A couple other people, Daxter, and then Chad, and then Jerry. And I think that was it.
So wait, so before you got on Maple, and then when you were with Foundation, just getting boards from them, who was the first filmer that took interest in you?
Steve Salentani. I mean, he put out Troubleshooters, and that's what kind of really got the ball rolling, I think.
Okay.
Is like I shared a part with Chad in that. I don't know. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah,
Troubleshooters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that part came out, and I remember there was like, other like he shot things for like cinematographer or something like that. I think he got me in a Trans World video here or there with some tricks. And then, after Salentani, I mean, it was like him. And then I met my buddy. She started filming me. And then, I eventually met Shakas, which is Mark DeLellis. And he kind of was just, who everybody filmed with in San Diego.
Can you, this is just for me. This might be overly nerdy, so I apologize in advance. Can you just tell me what was filming like back then for even Black Cat? Like what was a normal day in filming versus now of like this clip stacking kind of thing? Back then, was it more just a session that was recorded by the filmer?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's for whoever was, whatever spot you were at, and whoever, like sometimes, so you'd end up at a spot because somebody wanted to do a certain trick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of that, that's always going to happen. But, I mean, for me, I think it was more spontaneous on where we ended up is where I just tried to do stuff. But yeah, it was weird. I mean, a lot of it, back then was shooting photos. Like, everything was coming down to like a sequence in a magazine, you know what I mean? Okay. So it was like that sound was like, I don't know what you kind of always wanted to hear. I don't know, man. It was, funnest part of going out on a session, if you were, kind of shooting something cool. And then, I mean, we tried, but I don't know. We tried as hard as people do nowadays. I don't know. I don't know how like
before, is there on that photo front do you remember your first photo published?
Yeah, because, I don't know if you know Kevin Marks, but he does this look back library thing on Instagram. And, he sent me actually one of my first photos in Thrasher, and it's like me at like the graphics bong warehouse, like hauling off this thing into this like, I don't know, wall ride thing. I don't know. Chad and I were just goofing around, and we, he shot one off, and it was like, that was it. I remember that was the first one. And I think my second one would have been like Trans World, like a pop shove it that Jeff Kula shot in Cleveland. Done some double set.
Was it like, so just industry wise back then, so you get published in photo and like, so that first photo at the graphics warehouse, was that when you were still with Foundation or was that before that?
I don't even know if I had any sponsors at the time. Okay. Like it was just, I was out with Chad shooting, like, he was out trying to shoot Chad's like pro interview at, you know what I mean? So we were just, kind of like mobbing around spots, that day. And we ended up down there. I think he might've shot like Cookie Head Jenkins do something that day, or I don't know who else was there. It was cool.
And then, dude, that's amazing. And it was all using like old film, like actual film too. So it just mattered. Just whole roll.
Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? You'd know, like, I don't know, man, if like it was someone like was on it that day, because there would be, there wouldn't be as many film canisters left at the spot. Like, back then you'd roll up the spots and you'd know like something heavy went down because you'd find like just spent film on the fucking ground. It was awesome.
What's of anything that stands out? Like you were skating with obviously heavy hitters. You're one yourself. Was there anything that stands out that you were there when they were filmed? Is there anything that you're like, I was there when it happened?
Oh, dude, yeah, man. I'm lucky to say I've seen some awesome fucking gnarly shit.
Can you just give me one? It doesn't have to be the best, but just one.
Yeah, I could say from Troubleshooters, man, the day that Kent and Russell did the backside flip the hard way over the Point Loma rail. I mean, it was just, it was just such a good day. I mean, after that, man, he did that, and it just like, I don't know, it was just nuts. It was just fucking awesome.
Like,
Was
after a day like that, was it just like straight up back to the house party style or bars or whatever, or was it just keep skating?
well, no, I mean, well, yeah, for like us, it was just back to the house to like, fucking, for them to drink, whatever and drink themselves silly. And then, I don't know, like Ken was his own dude. Like, I mean, he was like way too smart for our shenanigans because we were like, a bunch of Midwest dudes like in a house. And I don't know, probably not easily understood because, well, I mean, my dudes are the craziest. That's all I know.
I still don't get along with everybody. I think that's just like a Midwest thing. Like we're our own people.
Yeah. And then, we had two Californian like dudes that lived with us. And, it was like, I remember Josh and this dude Holt had their own room. And then like Larry and Shane, who are from like PA, like they had their own room. Chad had his own room and I had the couch. And so it was like, I don't know, this is a weird little house, man. But all those dudes partied. I mean, they still all chat too and everything, man. Except for like Josh and Holt, like the California dudes, we don't know whatever happened. I don't know.
What, different way? So then how did it go from moving on for Maple, right? Like I love the ad of the leprechaun suit.
Oh, sweet.
Will you tell me the story of that how that all came to fruition?
Well,
I feel like that was your idea.
I mean, okay, yeah, like during that time, whatever, I was eating a lot of weed cookies, like, cakes, what I mean? Like, and this was like back before we knew anything about what we were doing.
Yeah.
But, we'd just make up some butter, make up some cookies. And, I always liked skating on them. So I was like, probably want the smartest thing. But I remember, I knew they were asking me, what do you want for a pro model? And I said, I want like a goose, like flying away from a leprechaun with a gold coin in its mouth. And, Rasta Rainbow going into the pot of cookies or into the pot of gold because they're fucking space cakes. You know what I mean? Like, and they're like, awesome. And this dude, Brian, man, he took exactly what I said in my head and just mapped it out perfectly on a board. And I don't know, it was just the best thing ever. You know what I mean?
What was it like, can you, just being from, Eastern Ohio, West Virginia, greater area, getting your first pro model? Do you remember like seeing it for the first time?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember like, going and getting a bunch from Maple, and it was just like, shit, I even bought a whole bunch because this is awesome and gave it out to people, whatever. But I remember like that day was just so surreal. And I remember going to like the skate park and Willie Santos was there. And I think I showed it to him and he's like, oh man, that's awesome. Like, knew you had it in you or something like that. And I was just like, it was surreal as fuck. I mean, from 2 years ago, like being like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to live out here because I didn't know where I was even at. And, to be where I was it was fucking amazing, man.
Oh, hey, Max White here. Do you like that clip? You like that clip a little bit. Come on. Do me a favor. Click that subscribe button right here. New episodes weekly. Thanks a lot for watching. I guess I'll just call it Max White Presents.
Max White, everyone.